Radostin Sedevchev. I'm a visual artist from Sofia, Bulgaria, and I've been in New York for almost 30 days. Well, it's really hard to describe in just a few words. I think I would go describing the whole experience as something really weird and strange, something that seemed weird when I read about it, and then it kind of materialized when me coming here and just doing all this stuff. And I find it really liberating because you're doing so much stuff, different stuff. You're totally out of context, out of your country, out of your bubble, so to speak. So being here, having the chance to experiment, meeting people, and just I think it was quite nice in a weird way. Like when I say weird, I don't mean like bad weird. I mean the good type of weird that I really enjoy. So but I think most of the activities I've done have started with a certain amount of my predisposition towards them, and then ended up being either totally different or something like similar to what I was expecting. But I think that most of the time I was surprised by the activity itself. Either the sheer scale of it, sometimes it was much bigger than I expected, sometimes much less. But in terms of me just being there and how I felt through these activities, I think most of the time was positive. Like I went into it like feeling with a little bit of insecurity, or I don't know, my kind of fears, so to say. And then it ended up much better than I expected. Like it's when I had to play chess on Union Square, this was a feeling where I really had this kind of moment where I overstepped my boundaries, and it felt quite good. Everybody's heard about New York. Everybody has this kind of idea about New York before coming here, and it's mostly media-based, or all these stories, art history, and whatnot. But being here, it's totally different than that one I imagined. It's way more friendlier, I think, than I expected. Like people are super nice on the street, and it's much safer than I expected. And also, which I realized yesterday, it's also good for biking. I think that I was not really ready to bike when I came here. I really didn't feel comfortable with directions, like going up, downtown. And what I felt yesterday while biking, I really knew where I was going, and this made it easier, because if you have to stop and look at your phone at each intersection, it kind of makes the whole fun go away. So I think it's better to know, or at least have some idea of the general direction you're going, and then just go around eventually the bike, because it can be quite confusing sometimes, especially with the lanes being on the left most of the time. So I think it's good to have some idea beforehand. Making connections or parallels between Sofia and New York, I don't think are that much. Like I think these are two totally different cities, not only by scale but also by culture, by way of functioning. I think here things are much more dynamic. Sofia, after 11 o'clock, it's much more quieter, and only in certain areas it's quite busy, but it's mostly quiet, and it's much greener, I think, and you can see the mountain from the center, and it gives a different kind of feel to it. But anyway, I think there are much more differences than similarities. The most challenging, I think, from activities were the ones that it was a really close kind of circle where people knew each other, and I was definitely not a fit for this kind of circle. Like, I think the most challenging was the charismatic prayer thing in St. John the Baptist, I think, church. It was a really religious, really a place where people knew each other, and I really felt this discomfort at many levels. It's hard to describe how uncomfortable it was, but yeah, in a way, it was also a thing that it can be interesting to observe from the side of being inside of this circle. It gives it another level of contact. Yeah. Well, I think almost in all cases where I had to adapt to a new kind of environment, to a new closed circle, I just head on. Like I go full on, and I try not to keep myself back. Just go full gas and experience it, and with pure notion that I know that this is going to end like in 1 hour. So 1 hour is not that long. It can be really long if you're doing something really uncomfortable, but you just start doing it, and when I start doing it, I start feeling more comfortable. Like when I spend more time in a different situation, I kind of start to feel more at ease, like knowing at least in parts what's happening or what's coming next. So I think just jumping right in is the best solution. I think people responded to my presence in the different situations in different ways. It was really dependent on what kind of activity I was doing. Like if it was a open class in the library, for example, it was super open because the idea was to be open. And I think in the religious circles, people were a bit more, inside of their own thing, and it's normal. Yeah, but most of the places it was quite a friendly experience, regardless how I was feeling towards the thing or not. Like with the belly dancing, it was super uncomfortable, but also the teacher, she kind of made everybody feel more safe and into the place where I'm showing like male belly dancers. So the other students who were regularly visiting there, and I was the only male inside of the room. So this felt good. This felt like the person knows where are the challenges and how to make the group more comfortable. So I guess most of the places had this kind of control over the group, and they didn't let anyone feel well. I think the belly dance was the only time I felt totally out of place because I was the only male in the class. But other than that, I think the groups were quite like mixed age, gender, all sorts of stuff. So it was quite different everywhere. Yeah, definitely. Back home, like most of the activities you get like yoga class or something else, it's mostly like just one set of people. You don't have this multiculturality that you have here. You don't have that many people from different places. It's much more conservative and much more separated, I think, back home. Yeah, I think that's one of the best parts of the city. When you can feel like you're. I think that there are so many people here from so many different places doing so many different things that you can always find something for you. No matter how weird or strange it is, you can always find something that fits you. Well, I'm kind of excited to go back home. I feel I I feel I've done a lot this month. So, and I also have set back a lot of things that I have to go about when I'm going back. So I need to keep up and do the things that I have left for 1 month. So I know I have a lot of work, and I know I have to do a lot of stuff, but I'm also excited that I can continue with that in a with fresh eyes. I think. Well, I'm pretty sure that everything we do kind of changes us in a way, and especially this fellowship, like being for 1 month, it definitely changes the way you feel about many things. And I think if I think that I can go home with a lot taken, but I feel the best thing is that I feel much more comfortable now, or at least I think I feel more comfortable in weird situations, new situations where I don't know what to expect. And this, I think it's not a neglectful thing. I think it's a good thing to just be able to let go of yourself, to be able to accept what's coming. Because art is usually what we do, or at least what most of the artists I know, they're like really close. They're really controlling of their environment, and I am also such a person. I usually don't see people I don't like, or I don't expect to see, or I see in portions that much of this and that much of this, but no more, because I cannot bear it, And just being here and meeting so many people that I had no idea who they are, what they're doing. We had no similar interests. First, I'm sorry. We had no similar interests in first glance, but then you see that there's so many things that a person can talk to about, and it's that's nice. No, you have to I know, I'm at least aware that I'm a really controlling person usually, but when I read about what is it about, I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to just control myself and let go, because otherwise there's no point. Why do it if you're going to just end up doing the same thing, or just limiting yourself? If it's about different kind of stuff. But therapy, I think it's nice to have this space during the fellowship, because it kind of brings a certain rhythm to it. It's because not every week you have the chance to communicate with people, and just being alone in your city sometimes can be a bit too much. I don't think I had that much of this feeling of being alone, because one was the therapy, but also I think the meetings with other fellows or past fellows, either online or in person, was really, really good. It felt like something important, something that keeps you check, because either you see people that have been through what you're going, or they are somewhere close. Tips for future fellows. What I recommend for future fellows would be to just forget everything you've done and just go with it. And if you're coming from not that big of a city, just do a little bit of research of what's where, so you can go around more easily, and don't worry about navigation, and just concentrate on different activities. Thank you.